Can you beat the Transformers Cybertron games using only melee?
No.
Silence!
It's impossible.
I decide what is possible and what isn't.
Let's give it a shot.
Speak your piece. Quickly.
Now I think it's safe to say that the Transformers games by High Moon Studios are some of the best Transformers games we've ever had.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last.
Please, Hasbro, Activision, just make up and kiss please and just put them back on the store. Crazy as it may seem, War for Cybertron released 14 years ago. Christ, I'm old.
Itchy, wretched, rusty, my ass!
Even so, it remains one of my favourite games of all time. I just love everything about this. From the designs, the story, the gameplay, the dark aesthetics, the multiplayer, the dark aesthetics. Now I know a majority prefer Fall of Cybertron, but this one for me will always be my personal favourite. Now I've played the campaign for this game many times, probably too many times. And while I like to use melee often, I've never thought about using it for the whole game. So I've been working on these videos for months because I also did a vehicle only challenge. And I plan on doing this for every modern Transformers game.
I have to do this to fucking live!
He's insane.
So be sure to subscribe, yeah?
On it!
Now let's lay down some ground rules. No weapons unless absolutely necessary and it stops us from progressing. Which yeah, means basically the death of the video. 2. No abilities. And finally, just to make it more challenging, no transforming. Because we love walking as a transformer. And because we're real gamers, we're gonna go on hard mode. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not suicidal. For chapter 1, as the Decepticons, we're gonna pick my favourite, Barricade. Not the Studio Series toy, though, that's...
Does being that stupid hurt?
Now, unlike other Transformers games, this campaign can be played in cooperative mode, which is why there's always 3 characters to choose. But it's okay, even if you don't have friends, the AI is there for you. The journey begins with text.
Civil war has ravaged Cybertron.
Steve Bloom, please narrate my life. The game begins with Megatron and his Decepticon goons head into an orbital station that holds dark energon, a dark power that can corrupt stuff. And he's willing to do anything to get it. Literally anything.
Ram this warship straight into the heart of that...
I absolutely love Fred Tatasciore as the voice of Megatron. He's so ruthless and just an asshole to work for.
But sir, that's suicide!
Silence!
The goons somehow manage to survive, but this is just a typical day for Megatron. The leader of this station is Starscream.
And I have protected my station for over 1,000 years!
This is bad comedy.
Now obviously we can't shoot these turrets, but they're also too high up for us to melee, so we're gonna have to let Megatron and Brawl do it for us.
Hail, Lord Megatron!
Do not speak unless spoken to.
Thankfully we can whack these turrets, and honestly I love how melee feels in this game. It just feels so badass. Now I didn't just choose Barricade because he's hot, it's also because he's the most agile out of the group, but mostly because he's cool.
This is almost too easy.
Bro, please don't jinx it. All that remained in this area was this dude. Now the boys weren't doing a very good job at shooting this guy, but thankfully, because I'm so agile, I was able to get him.
Megatron! I thought you'd be scrap-ready by now.
Dude, have you not heard his voice? You should be flying for your life. The next 2 areas was pretty easy. The guys kept falling down like flies, so we were able to move on pretty fast. With the area secured, we were able to meet up with the rest of our Decepticon buddies. Yeah, bro, don't give a shit. Yeah, let's just speed up the process and just murder these guys. Yay, murder. I always have way too much fun doing this. Also a commander at this station is Jetfire, who lectures us on how this is a very, very bad idea.
I've seen the horrors of what Dark Energon can do. To use it would mean disaster.
Shut up.
I hope this Dark Energon stuff is worth it, Megatron.
Barricade has the energy of an old man.
And we're fresh out of Star Cruisers to tunnel our way.
Quiet.
Our favourite alien tape recorder points us in the next direction.
I think I'm going offline.
These soldiers look pretty banged up.
Unacceptable. They should be dead.
Moving on to the next area, I thought we reached an obstacle, but thanks to the blessing of double jump, I was able to time it right and get to the soldiers. The same applies to the next room where Starscream tries and traps us. How is it possible that a robot with these toes can look so cool? Now unfortunately the next area, this challenge is put to a halt, as these fans in the lower level make it impossible to get through. Try as I might, there's just no way to hit these with the melee. So for people who wanted a simple answer and didn't want to watch a long video, there you go. Bye. But for those who are more curious, we carry on with our journey and whack a bunch of snipers. Now you don't have to bother yourself with a bunch of soldiers in this area, you can just waltz through and carry on with the mission.
Flyers inbound. You disgust me.
Now the enemy that's the most pain in the ass in this challenge is the flyers. Some are pretty easy to hit, but some of them are so goddamn unreachable at times. Bruh. As we progress further into the level, we see that it's snowing. My favourite time on Cybertron.
Come on!
Now the final area of this chapter isn't really that hard. The only thing you need to really look out for is the heavy gunners. I tried my best to separate these guys, but they ended up just doing a tag team. But they're not really that bad. You just have to circle around them, and it takes about like 7 or 8 hits to kill them.
How do you like me now?
He's so tiny. I always love how it feels hitting with this thing. Unfortunately, another obstacle is this door. We can't hit it, so we have to shoot it. Ready guys? 3, 2, 1, T-pose.
No one can control Dark Energon!
I am the Dominator. I am the Destroyer. I am...
Badassatron.
Receive your birthright.
As Megatron goes all Charles Xavier, it's the end of a chapter.
Dark Energon is mine to command.
You're endangering our entire world!
Please! Please don't hurt me! I sense easily!
Now for chapter 2, Fuel of War, I'm gonna choose Thunderkraken because he's ugly and he likes dogs.
Ugly? That wasn't necessary, but I guess I don't mind.
Okay, for this chapter, we're gonna have to break our rule for no transformation because there's just no way to get around this level without flying. I think you can already imagine how much of a pain this level is gonna be.
That imbecile thinks I'm expendable? Me?
But that doesn't mean we're always going to be using our jet mode, because there are some areas where we can clearly walk it.
You're as boring as ever, Thundercracker.
I am dead inside.
I gotta say, after playing this game so many times, it was kind of painful having to trigger the alarms.
Be on high alert. The Decepticons are planning to reactivate the Energon bridge.
Gotcha, bitch!
Our next enemy type are the shotgunners, who protect themselves with a shield, and they're really not all that bad. You just gotta give them 2 hits and they're pretty much done with. As we make our way to the next area, I did not anticipate how hard I was gonna get hit. Thunder's lights was cracked out. For our next task, we have to destroy an Autobot ship that creates a shield generator over the entrance. Whacking the cannons wasn't that hard at all, except for when it would knock you back sometimes. But the biggest pain in the ass was squatting these noisy Autobot flies. Try as I might, these guys would just not stop moving. I think Starscream and Skywarp were helping me out because as soon as I managed to hit one, I was able to move on. As we set our deck pack to blow it up, we were hit with another obstacle. The double jump wasn't enough to get us to the top, so we had no choice but to transform. Now I wasn't going to include armor in the run, but I feel like that's a challenge for another video.
Can't complain about that, I guess.
Trust me, Skywarp, some people will.
Did you see that? You mean that creepy looking thing that just jumped over the side? Yeah! Nope, I didn't see anything.
I love these goofballs so much. Our next enemy type is the Autobot Cloakers, and these guys just feel so satisfying to whack when you finally get them. The next area isn't really all that bad, you just have to trigger a couple of alarms and be careful of the snipers as you're trying to open the door. Now I would have assumed that we'd have to shoot at this, but we can actually whack it, we just have to keep on transforming over and over until we finally get it done. Now we don't necessarily have to transform in this area, we can walk it all the way down, which is not recommended. It's very boring. I mean, we have to transform again anyway just to get to the next area.
What's the matter, Skywarp? Afraid?
At least I'm not ugly.
Ugly? You and I look the same!
That gets me every time. Because we're abnormal Transformers, we're walking all the way to the underground. Okay, shit, never mind, we gotta go before we die. After dealing with a couple of shotgunners, we're now in a puzzle room where we have to supply energon to these terminals. And unfortunately, we can't whack them, so we have no choice but to shoot them. Now we can whack this switch, but unfortunately the other two are higher up, so we have no choice but to transform. As we move further down to complete the level, unfortunately it's a massive obstacle, as we can't hit these turrets and we can't hit the power core. I mean, this is not my favourite boss, so I was really happy to get this over and done with.
I can't hear you!
All hail Starscream!
One more time!
Now for chapter 3, Icon Destroyed, we're gonna choose Soundman, because I love the sound this man makes.
I am whole again.
In this mission, we must move behind enemy lines so we can obtain the Omega Key.
The Omega what?
The beginning of this area is very simple. We deal with a couple of cloakers and... oh. That's some unfortunate imagery. Now I had a feeling that either Megatron or Breakdown would have taken out these snipers for me, but I was too impatient and I was able to get on top and whack 'em one. But before I could get to the second one, they already took him out. After using his voodoo stuff, we enter the map room of Cybertron, and if you guys have played this game before, you know I can't resist. Yep, I forgot they did that.
Megatron, I'm warning you right now. You are toying with forces.
Seriously? Did you just say toying? After kicking out some flyers, I decide to take on 2 heavy gunners at once. As we make our way further down, instead of driving it to the bottom, we walk it. Yeah, you guys can suffer too.
Let us not waste time. My energy will be better spent elsewhere. I must wait for this to pass. My functionality has dropped to acceptable levels. That was counterproductive.
As we make our way through and accidentally whack Breakdown, we make it to the second train area. What the?
Hey, Soundwave, you want to race?
Negative.
We got more trains, and I gotta say, I was getting my ass handed to me in this area. But timing it just right, we were able to press on. And whenever we see an Autobot cripple, we have to whack him.
Leave no Autobot alive.
After avoiding the tracks, we meet up with everyone's favourite brawler, Brawl.
Whose butt needs kicking?
And I gotta say, the first part of this area was actually quite challenging. By trying to avoid the brute, this shotgunner just kept getting me. When there's more than one shotgunner around, you gotta watch your back. We make our way down and see Brawl, and I'm sorry, but how have I never noticed this before? This looks terrifying. This robot, he doesn't even have flesh, but it looks like he does. It's like it's just been burnt off. I'm gonna name him Skullatron. Okay. Anyway, Zeta flips us the bird, and we have to deal with a huge Autobot army. No, but hey, look at this guy helping out his friend.
Leave me here. Save yourself.
Now, I thought this area would be another huge obstacle, but the Autobots actually make their way up the stairs, so you're not really waiting around all too long. It also helps that your Decepticon buddies are killing the guys you can't reach. But some of these Autobot soldiers refused to come down, so I had to jump my way up and whack as many as I could. There was a couple of moments where I was inches away from death, and these flyers were also a pain in the ass because I just couldn't hit some of them. But damn, it felt satisfying when I could. I thought I'd have to wait ages for these heavy gunners, but nope, they just commit suicide. And we didn't have to wait long for the bombers to arrive.
Boom! Eat that, Autobots!
With the streets now cleared, we head off to Zeta Prime, until...
Surprise, motherfucker.
Now, I thought this guy was going to be a real challenge, but actually they're quite fairly easy to defeat. You just have to whack the button on the back for him to transform, get behind him and just keep whacking him over and over and over.
Oh, hell no, man.
I did that! All me!
Bruh.
Unfortunately, there's an obstacle in Zeta's vault. I can't hit this thing, so we have no choice but to shoot it.
Hello there.
Idiot.
We advanced to the boss arena, and I really hate this fight. And I got reminded why in the first 5 seconds.
Did you really think it would be that easy? Come down here, Zeta Prime, and I will give you the answer.
I mean, it's fairly simple. You and your gang just have to avoid getting crushed. Okay, only you have to avoid getting crushed. The main annoying thing in this boss is the holographic Zetas. I mean, these guys are just going to EMP blast you non-stop. And sometimes whacking them can be quite a challenge.
And here I thought one of this guy was annoying!
Now, surprisingly, unlike the Seekers, Megatron and Breakdown actually know how to fire, and are able to defeat the boss without my help. Granted, it took like 10 minutes.
Stay off the glowing floors if you wish to live.
Finally, we can be done with this level and move on.
Zeta Prime is conquered.
Now moving on to Chapter 4, Death of Hope, we've got the same guys as last time. I'll go with Breakdown.
Yes, back to gorgeous! Feast your optics on this!
Megatron realizes that Omega Supreme is the Omega Key, and is willing to pull the same trick from the first chapter. But Breakdown's a lot smarter than Barricade.
We're gonna die! What are we gonna do now, Megatron?
To hold off Omega Supreme, we have to destroy the bridge, but when we whack it, we fall down with him. So that's another obstacle, as Soundwave and Megatron are too busy firing at Omega Supreme. Always gotta do it ourselves. It takes merely seconds for Starscream to assume that we're dead, so we gotta get to the lift quick before he causes irreparable harm. Nothing really too troubling in this area except for the saturation just going up by 100%.
I'm invincible!
Once again, we have another obstacle where we have no choice but to shoot Omega Supreme's hand, or we'll die. We have a big room with a lot of Autobots, and honestly, I was really proud of myself for this one. As the bros drive out, we walk.
Did you see me back there? Omega couldn't touch me!
I'm shocked. Sadly, we get pinned down with another Autobot tank, but Starscream's here to save the day.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Yeah, so this area was kind of difficult, with the hitboxes on these repair sentries being a pain in the ass. Not only that, but these snipers were getting at me pretty hard as well. But the Autobot tank wasn't really all that hard, and hey, I got a health shield at the end. After avoiding getting microwaved and dealing with a couple of cloakers and heavy gunners, we take the time to admire the big ass toes on Omega Supreme.
We made it!
Yes, Breakdown. Your constant whining saw us through.
As soon as we get in the lift, we make it to the final area of the game, which really wasn't all that too challenging. The open space made it a lot easier to take cover and avoid getting hit. But unfortunately, this chapter ends with an obstacle, as Megatron and Soundwave are unable to hit Omega Supreme, so we have no choice but to do it ourselves. But even if they could, I got a feeling I would have been waiting there for a long time. And I would have waited as well, because I have no life. Now for Chapter 5, The Final Guardian, we're gonna... well, I guess there's only one choice, isn't there? Now you may be thinking the same as I did. I thought that there was no way I could get through this with melee only. Well, little did I know, it is possible.
You serious?
See, it doesn't take long for Soundwave and Breakdown to destroy his turrets, and you're already moving on to corrupt him with Dark Energon. Now I don't want to just wait around for Soundwave and Breakdown to shoot him to death. I want to get some action too. But you gotta be careful around his feet because you will die quickly. Now one thing that definitely does help you out is Megatron's hovering ability. Now I know what I said, no abilities, but I wanted to test it out with the hover anyway, just to see how far I would get.
Not even Omega Supreme can stop me now!
Not very far. You can get up Omega Supreme without using the ability. You just gotta be very precise with your double jumps. And just like that, he's been conquered. And now we have to use the Dark Energon to corrupt it.
I know what to do. Be silent or face my wrath!
Alright bro, chill. For the ending of the Decepticon chapter, we corrupt Cybertron.
Let it begin! A glorious new age is upon us, my brethren. Cybertron is mine to command!
Now it's time to play as the Autobots, so with Chapter 6, Defend Iacon, we're going to be playing as Ratchet. My favourite.
Badassatron.
I can't wait to learn everything about you, and then tell you everything about me!
The Autobots are directionless with Zeta Prime gone, so Optimus Prime assumes temporary command.
To any Autobots on this frequency, this is Jetfire, come in!
Oh, this guy again.
As we open the door with our big stretchy man arms, we already have an Autobot in need of our help.
Relax. I'm a professional. How embarrassing.
Instead of saving lives, we're taking lives, and I love Ratchet's melee weapon in this game. I can't believe it took 14 years, but we're finally getting a toy of this design.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Scarce here.
As we defeat the brute, we carry on to the lift. Except for Optimus. Prime? Are you coming? Nah, he's not coming. It's fine, it's fine. We have another Autobot in distress, and this time we're gonna save him.
Hang on, I'll fix you right up. Completely unintentional. My apologies.
Now I thought we reached our first obstacle in this chapter, but no, you don't have to use the gun turret, just let Prime do it all on his own. But it takes a long time.
Do the Decepticons not have enough help already?
They don't call him a Prime for nothing.
Autobots, roll out.
Yeah, he said the thing, But unfortunately, we're walking it. And yes, I'm going to do it again.
My energon level is falling. We're wasting time. Have to endure this. Thoughts muddled. Can't think straight.
As we press on, we have the third Autobot in distress, and this time we are gonna save him.
You're getting the best care possible.
Oh, come on!
That is really rude!
In the next area, we encounter Soundwave.
You guys definitely weren't invited, so fade!
I love how he's just waving us goodbye. As we move further on, we encounter the Decepticon War Machines. And I gotta say, they're pretty easy to take down with melee. They only take a couple of hits, and when it comes to destroying the center, hop on the Dark Energon, and you can land right on the machine. The machine won't push you off, so you can just carry on whacking until you destroy it. Make sure you jump on the Dark Energon in time before they get vaporized. Next, we've got to walk to the Decagon. And no, I won't make you watch this again. After whacking more enemies, we encounter our second Decepticon war machine. And we finally are able to repair someone.
That was practically surgical!
Now this machine was a little more difficult to get on top of, but I soon figured it out and destroyed it. We're now going to have to ride the turbines to reach the other side.
I could be repairing someone right now. Terribly sorry!
As we finally reach the Decagon and destroy a couple of Decepticon gunners, everyone's favourite Tooth Fairy Ironhide arrives.
Decepticon punk.
He helps us get through the Decagon entrance, and we can just waltz right through here, except for this brute that we need to destroy. Sadly, we can't align the data streams by whacking it, so we have no choice but to shoot it. The only trouble I had in this room were the flyers. I had to wait a while for them to transform so I could whack them, and some of them wouldn't die in one hit. We finally make it to the top, and the boss of this area is Starscream.
You're no match for the speed and power of Star!
But when he's in his jet mode, you just gotta let B and Prime do their thing, and then he transforms. And as soon as he does transform, it's pretty easy. And I gotta tell you, whacking this dude was so much fun.
You'll see me again, Autobots! Coward!
For Chapter 7, K-On! Prison Break, we're gonna pick Bumble Bitch.
Hey! Is that funny to you?
The possibility of Zeta Prime being alive sends Optimus Prime to the K-On! Prison complex.
Have faith, Bumblebee.
Spare me this mockery of justice! Who said anything about justice?
We're soon rescued by Air Raid and head down to the service ducts. Now the great thing about this chapter, at the start, we have no weapons. And you don't have to pick any up when we break free.
Quickly, Autobots! Take their weapons!
Now bro, we're doing a challenge. I quickly got through this area, and at points where I thought I'd be stuck, Optimus and Sideswipe helped me out. We work our way down the lift, and we encounter Pinhead.
Who you calling Pinhead?
After whacking a couple of spiders, we're captured once again. But thankfully, we've got Optimus Prime.
Didn't know you could do that!
Oh, we can do a lot more. We take out a couple of brutes, just to impress her. She's so beautiful. We get too distracted and suffer damage.
That's what you get for looking at me funny.
We also take out a couple of heavy gunners, just to impress him. Damn, he's so cool.
Don't be a moron!
Unfortunately, Air Raid is also captured. But after dealing with a couple of cloakers, we're able to break him free. But not only that, we break free every Autobot in the prison. After dealing with a huge wave of Decepticons, we make our way down to the prison. Thankfully, we're not forced to use these gun turrets, so Optimus Prime is having all the action. There is a lengthy section to where Zeta Prime is being held, and unfortunately, we're walking it all the way. Sorry guys, I lost my T-Cog. Eventually, we make it.
Yeehaw! We made it!
Quiet or I'll rip your voice out. We discover that Soundwave is into some really kinky shit.
All you bots out on the floor, get ready to rock it.
Honestly, this fight was pretty easy. Just destroy the sentries and whack each minion that pops out a Soundwave. And it was a lot of fun whacking these little dudes.
Hey! Who are you calling little?
Despite defeating Soundwave, we're too late to save Zeta Prime.
Oh, they hit me hard that time.
I return with a fallen hero.
Till all are one.
I wouldn't say hero. Also, why do they all look like Zetas? Now for Chapter 8, The Core, we're gonna pick Warpath.
That is music to my ears! Kablam!
I've made a huge mistake.
We're not only here to save the Core, but we're also here to save Omega Supreme, who's being tortured with Dark Energon. After destroying the restraints, we're in the main area. And this area is by far the hardest part of the challenge, simply due to it being one of the longest sections of the game, with flyer enemies being frustrating to reach. Not only that, but we've got to protect Ratchet when he's trying to heal Omega Supreme. And I have always hated that kind of challenge in video games.
I need assistance.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Just when we thought it was all over, we have to take on yet another Decepticon tank. Despite it not really feeling like a challenge, this one felt much longer to take on than the previous ones. I felt like I was just whacking on endlessly for ages, not knowing if I was doing any damage.
And Hulk. Smash.
With that done, we head into the Core.
Let's get it over with.
We had to wait in this area quite a bit for the Autobots to take out these Decepticons, but we also had additional help from Jimbo the Slug. That's what I'm calling him.
I'll weep
Ragna Weep Nitty Bomb.
We got more slugs, and we gotta ride them to get to the next area. I think this section would be near impossible on hard mode because I was clinging on to life here. Great, the game froze. It didn't help either with these Decepticon flyers attacking us, and this corrupt worm throwing meatballs at us. It was so hard not to use the railgun because, as you can see, I almost died. I have never been more happy to see a save icon. The corrupt worm causes the floor to collapse, and the gang gets separated, and it was at this point I realised I made a huge mistake choosing Warpath, because each character lands in a unique section of the area, and unfortunately for Warpath, we're blocked off from reaching the other guys, so we're stuck here, unable to melee. Of course, to get through the section quicker, the game wants us to use the railgun, but we can't do that, so we've got to wait for Ironhide and Optimus to defeat the Decepticons, and it takes a long, long time. Well, 6 minutes, but it feels like forever. Guys, I don't think you realise how heartbreaking this was for me because I have always prevented that tank from destroying that slug, and I had forgotten what happened if it kills it. Once again, we're dealing with a problem that Optimus Prime does not want to join us at all. Okay, Prime, we're going to carry on the mission without you. We reach an obstacle in this chapter, this rock. Optimus and Ironhide are unable to shoot it, so we can't get across, so we have to do it ourselves. Even though we can go around the second rock, Ironhide shoots it down. What a way to mess up the challenge, buddy. We finally reach the core, and the final boss of this area. I think I'll call this one Nimbo. And thankfully, we don't have to do anything for this boss, we can just let Ironhide and Prime do the work for us. Sadly, the Autobots are too late to save the core, but if the planet shuts down its systems completely, he'll be able to repair himself, but the process will take millions of years. He offers Optimus a portion of his spark to take with him to the stars.
For as long as it survives, so shall I. Will you accept this responsibility, Optimus Prime?
No.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Now for Chapter 9, Aerial Assault.
I understood that reference.
I'm going to pick Air Raid because of his chunky ass legs.
That's good, right? This is good.
The Autobots try to leave the planet, but unfortunately Megatron's gun is shooting them down, so it's up to us to destroy it. Just like Chapter 2, for most of the sections in Chapter 9, we are forced to use our jet modes. And as we travel through, we're immediately at the most painful part of the chapter. Not only were the Decepticon flyers really hard to hit, but it took Jetfire and Silverbolt ages to destroy this station defender, because of course my melee doesn't work on it. I'm not kidding you when I say this took like 30 minutes. I was so happy when it finally started to take damage. Even when the health bar was at its lowest, it still took ages. Like, come on man, hurry up. But eventually, they did it. But that wasn't even the end of it, as we had a second phase of this fight. Yeah, can't say I had the same reaction. We get inside, and we can finally start whacking stuff. But these sentries were really giving me trouble. But eventually, we were able to kick our way through. Air Raid takes the time to compliment Silverbolt. Kind of.
You don't entirely suck at the job. You know, for a guy who's afraid of heights and all.
Wait a minute, Optimus chose Silverbolt to lead the team? Even though he's afraid of heights? Is Optimus Prime an idiot? We continue whacking and kicking doors to make our way through, and reach a room where we have to deal with a bunch of Decepticon cloakers.
Jetfire, after all this time, you've come home.
How does he know you? Long story.
They was once besties. The next room was fairly straightforward, but these heavy gunners were giving me some trouble. Thank God that there was an Energon cube right behind me. In the next area, we had a Decepticon destroyer, which once again wasn't really that hard to kill. It was the brutes and snipers around me that were giving me the most trouble. And still being committed to not using jet mode in some areas, these snipers, I just couldn't reach them at all, so I had to wait for my teammates to kill them for me. As we press on, we reach the final room for this section, where we need to hit some switches and overload the beam's pulse regulator. Thankfully for this, we can just whack it. And I gotta say, this room was a massive pain in the afterburner, because these shotgunners were getting me so hard, where I just kept on dying again and again. Thankfully, I was able to get through it, but the chapter isn't over yet, as we have one more section to complete. After whacking a few more cons, we have to go inside the orbital cannon, which is revealed to be Trypticon. Think of Barney but sharp. And this was the most time-consuming area of them all, because I'm not just waiting around like the beginning, I have to perfectly time my attacks.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get in.
Thankfully, after each kill of a destroyer, it saves. And after killing the final one, we can all finally finish this level.
Move, move, move!
Okay, 2 of us can finish this level. And after whacking the sentries, the beast transforms. Jetfire and Silverbolt basically disappear, so we have no choice but to shoot his jetpack ourselves.
I will grind you into dust for this, Autobots!
Now for the final chapter, One Shall Stand, we're going to be playing as Optimus Prime.
All the slammin' shorties in the house say yeah.
Now this chapter is basically one big boss area. As Trypticon crashes down, it's up to us to check if he's really dead. But before we do that, we meet up with Ratchet, who gives us some extra armor.
I needed that!
Anyway, we finally reach the place.
Really? What was your first clue? The total devastation?
Trypticon does a surprise attack. Despite looking invincible, he does have a couple of weak points. But unfortunately, we can't melee. We actually can't melee at all. So it's up to B and Einhide to carry the fight. First off, we've got to deal with his cannons, and the best way to destroy him is shooting at these battery conveyors, which is the only thing we have to shoot at in this whole fight. After doing this, the aerial bots come to help, until... almost makes that last chapter feel pointless. Next we've got to shoot out every man's weakness, his nipples, which took B and Einhide a long time to shoot out. He gets even more mad for blasting off his nipples, so he whacks us with his tail and we fall further down below. If positioned right, Bumblebee and Einhide easily take out Trypticon's power sources, but it can be tricky as sometimes they refuse to move. I won't lie when I say that this was very draining and time consuming, with it taking me multiple attempts. Now the spiders will be distracting to B and Einhide, as oftentimes they'll move just to hit them. But I had a solution to get the Autobots into position. Just whack them. Yeah, if you just whack them enough, they'll move and get a better aim. But it isn't always perfect. This close to finishing them off, and the guys decide to go on the left side. At this point I really thought it was going to go on forever, until... we finally defeat Trypticon, with him falling down below.
Now that's just fun!
Thank Primus. It worked.
Defeated me, Autobots. Lie down and die.
No.
And that's the end of the game. The Autobots win the battle, but the war is far from over, as the Autobots gear up for the sequel, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, which would release 2 years later. So, can you beat War for Cybertron with melee only?
No way. It's false. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened.
Technically, yes. There are many obstacles where you're forced to use your weapon and vehicle mode to progress with the story. But that aside, using melee only on any difficulty is a massive challenge. I'm sure if you love this game as much as I do, you've probably tried this challenge out already. Would I recommend it? No. Unless if you want to torture yourself. Now let's move on to Fall of Cybertron.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
This will be amusing!
I think it goes without saying that Fall of Cybertron is one of the best Transformers games we've ever had.
For once, we agree.
High Moon Studios really upped their game for the sequel, and not only emphasizing more on the story, but also the multiplayer, being able to better customize your Transformer. I can't tell you how many hours I spent on the multiplayer alone. Oh, how I'd love to go back to 2012. The hype leading up to this game was insane. We had a playable demo, DLC to look forward to, and those badass CGI trailers.
Surprise!
Prime just murdered Starscream. Now you may be wondering, how am I playing this on PS5? Well, back in 2016 you could buy it digitally on PlayStation 4, but unfortunately it's been delisted from the stores. This was applied to the rest of the Transformers games.
Whoever did this to us will hear from all of us!
So, let's play this game with only melee. But what about the Vortex and Starscream chapter?
Wait, you think I didn't think of that? Of course I thought of that.
Yeah, unfortunately some areas force us to use our vehicle mode. And to make matters worse, we no longer have a double jump.
No, I need it!
And because we're real gamers, we're gonna go on hard mode. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not that mental.
Later! That's cheating!
So for chapter 1, The Exodus, we're playing the end of the game. And to start us off, we're gonna be Bumblebitch.
Hey! Is that funny to you?
Hey, you don't have a voice in this game, so shut up. The journey begins with the Autobots leaving Cybertron to look for a new home, which is apparently one of the hardest decisions Optimus Prime has ever had to make, that and quitting basketball. But unfortunately for them, the Decepticons are hot on their tail.
Oh my god! What is it?
Yes, that's it. Follow the light.
Is that good or bad?
Unfortunately, right off the bat, we have no choice but to use our weapons, with this being a tutorial. Prime, lend a hand here. It isn't long though until we can melee our first enemies. Prime, when I said lend a hand, not literally. We get a death threat from Megatron and... Dude, bro, you could have just said excuse me. The situation is dire, so we need to get the pulse cannons back online. We were 2 seconds away from death.
I'll hold it open for you!
RID Grimlock, is that you? After narrowly avoiding getting sucked out, we're able to reactivate the lifts.
Looks like it's time to drop some science on you all.
We then enter this small room and get a couple of kills.
Oh yeah! We got it down now! Oh great!
After getting the pulse cannons back on, it's time to roll out. Because unfortunately, we can't change form here.
What do you think the odds are now?
Nothing you can't fix.
Our next task is to get closer to Optimus.
No!
Man, I really miss those cannons in this game.
Then I'll just have to destroy you all!
Hey, watch your aim! That was unfortunate. Hey, you're a good shot with those rockets.
Never felt better, Prime.
After taking in the amazing music by Danish composer Troels Foreman, we start Chapter 2, Defend the Ark, as Optimus Prime.
All the slammin' shorties in the house say yeah.
6 Earth days before the launch of the Ark, the Autobots prepared to shut down the city.
Perceptor, how goes the city shutdown procedures?
Nearly finished, Optimus. My team will have all systems powered off and archived.
Perceptor, just do it.
But unfortunately, we are attacked by the Decepticons. But before we head off on our journey, there's one thing I've got to check.
Your sacrifice will not be forgotten.
Where are you, Optimus? We need you!
Wait a moment.
We walk our way to the auxiliary entrance to help out Ratchet repair some Autobot soldiers.
Oops, sorry, my bad.
Do you have any idea what it's like to slowly fall apart and die?
More than you know.
Oh hey look, it's Sideswipe.
We need that dropship to get support to the outer wall.
Kill Megatron, how about that?
Optimus, I need your help!
Optimus, Ratchet could really use your help.
Yeah, I'm not deaf. Before we head out, we've got to repair Silverbolt.
Easy. Save your strength.
Completely unnecessary, you know.
Aw, it's really sad to see all of our Autobots in this state. Wait a minute. That's a really bad self-portrait. We help out Cliffjumper, and before heading out with Warpath, we head into Grimlock's room and watch some television.
I am directly below. The enemy screwed up. Deep Wang.
Where are you, Optimus?
It's time to get serious and have our first battle.
Go!
Oh my god, we do suck. Unlike War for Cybertron, most enemies in Fall of Cybertron take 2 hits to kill, which becomes a pain in the ass later on. Warpath wants us to use the gun turret, but we can handle this on our own. Maybe. Now you do receive help from other characters in this game, but not by much. After disabling the Decepticon bomb, we head inside and meet Perceptor. He needs us to get another Moleculon fuse. To protect us from Megatron's attacks, we need to redirect the power to the artillery gun.
I've been trying to get these weapons online, but they're quite old.
Don't tell us about it, just do it.
But the Decepticons are right outside, so we join up with our boy Cabbage to stop him.
They'll be through any second!
Steady, soldier.
Shortest conversation ever. We avenge our boy Cabbage for a life cut short. Our next area wasn't that much of a challenge, with it being an open space and there being energon cubes around. But when the Leaper arrives, we reach our first obstacle, as we have no choice but to shoot it in the back, because if we don't...
You're next, Prime!
In this area, we have to deal with 4 Leapers, which took me way longer than it needed to, with them just pushing me around all over the place. Now we face a Decepticon Marauder. Now we can't take this one out with melee, because the area's blocked, so we have no choice but to call an airstrike. Now you may be wondering why I switched to Megatron's gun form. Because it makes that sound. We slowly make our way out after activating the guns, and then we encounter Starscream.
All the danger you can handle is already here, Floptimus Prime!
And he's made a right mess of our Autobots.
No.
Yeah, he has, Prime, look. And I gotta say, this area was testing my patience. It's our first encounter with the shotgunners, and I swear, they at times make this challenge almost impossible. And I'm on normal mode. The best way to get them is hit them as soon as they land, and what helped as well was this explosion, but I still had difficulty with the final one. We need to get to the neutron gun controls, but we got a bunch of Decepticons in our way. An airstrike would be nice, but we're a Prime. We can melee this.
Not today.
but eventually I was able to do it.
I believe the scientific term for that is
Perceptor.
We make it to the guns, where we have no choice but to use the cannon because, well, story progression. The gun goes offline, but little did Prime know that the station is alive, with Optimus feeling his presence through the Matrix. And with one lever, the station transforms.
Ba weep, Grogna weep, Ninny Bong.
Now for Chapter 3, Metroplex heeds the call. We play as Metroplex. With us now having a huge advantage against Megatron, quite literally, we head off to the ruins of Iacon.
Sound the alarm! Sound the alarm! That was unavoidable.
For this chapter, we have to destroy all the warp cannons, but we gotta deal with a couple of leapers first. Anyone care to explain why Jetfire's head is enlarged? And it's here? After destroying the first warp cannon and witnessing Metroplex go full Bayhem,
Genius. Hi, I'm Michael Bay.
we head off to the second warp cannon, but first we've got to deal with a bunch of Decepticons. Not only that, but it's time to get up close and personal with the Marauders. They are possible to defeat melee, but you've got to go back and get some health because these guys are going to kill you really fast. I would say these guys take roughly 20 hits to kill.
Kapow! Warpath, what are you doing?
I just squeezed the trigger and pow!
Enough.
Ooh, look who's a big shot!
We deal with the last wave of Decepticons, but unfortunately with one Marauder, we have no choice but to call an airstrike because we can't reach it. But what's even harder to reach is this damn entrance. After moving a Mega Supreme's head, we destroy the third warp cannon. We've got one more left to destroy, and we gotta reach it quick before it destroys the arc.
Hey, watch your aim. Try not to do that again.
Why do you fire at me?
That was unintentional.
Making our way to the last warp cannon, this area was a massive pain in the ass. I died multiple times here. We can't get through without destroying the Marauder and the dropship. We can't melee either of them, so we have to use the airstrike. But the biggest pain in this area was the shotgunners. There was just too many here. But I pressed on, timed my attacks just right, and we were able to move on. Except for Metroplex, who sadly got shot down by the warp cannon.
Wasted ordnance is unacceptable.
Also, I've just noticed that the damage on the buildings are motherboards. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. With Metroplex down, we deal with it ourselves, until...
Surprise, motherfucker! I needed that.
We get taken away after being kicked in the face by Starscream.
Flapdimus Prime!
Funny, isn't it, Megatron? How easily I defeated the one adversary you couldn't.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked.
Silence! I'll stop when all of you are dead!
You seem a little pitchy, dog.
Just when all hope seems lost, Metroplex is back online.
I am the Dominator! I am the Destroyer! I am...
Take that, Decepticon, punk.
You dare not let your leader perish! This won't disable me for long!
My equilibrium destabilized!
Megatron has fallen! I, Starscream, am now your leader! Decepticons, follow me!
Nothing like blunt force trauma.
Despite the Autobot victory, they need to find more Energon for the Ark.
And quickly.
You feeling lucky, punk? Easy, Ironhide. Just kidding.
Now for Chapter 4, Eye of the Storm, we're going to be playing as everyone's favourite, Clifford the Big Red Dog. We head to the Sea of Rust, but we won't be alone, as our best buddy Jazz joins the ride.
It'll have to do, Sideswipe. You ready, Cliff Jumper? Always. Let's do it.
You want the horns? No.
We make our way through, and are forced to try out our new Cloaker ability, but we're a pro like Solid Snake, so we ain't gonna use it. A big obstacle in this chapter is that we're forced to transform to use the vents, but we're only going to be using the vents that progress the story. In the next area, we've got to stealth our way to the trash compactor. Now I've platinumed 5 Metal Gear Solid games, so this is going to be a walk in the park.
He's no Megatron. Better than Autobots. Wow, this is boring.
Much to my shock, and frankly quite disturbing, is that the Decepticons have a poster of RC.
Now we're talking. I'll put a few dings in ya. Hey, you there? You guys are so raw!
Cliff jumper!
Jokes aside, we're able to get our sneak on and activate the trash compactor. We have a lot of cons firing rockets at us, but all you gotta do is just hide behind here.
I know!
Moving on to the next area, we have a new enemy type with a con using a stealth cracker.
What's cracking, my homies? Gasket. You stink! I can smell you from here!
Man, I don't know what to think no more, man.
I don't know why, but I hide in this corner every time thinking they're not gonna see me. But they always see me. The best strategy I have is just to run out of there. You know, you could just move on to the next area very quickly if you just ignore them. Of course, there's no other way to get to the next area without going under these vents. Now, one of my favourite but small moments in this game is entering the map room. I just love how this looks. It's so beautiful.
Jazz, you should see this place. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. Write a poem about it and move on.
G1 Jazz would never say that. Now for this part, you've got to stealth it just right and make sure the Decepticons are in certain positions, because if you don't, this shotgun is going to kill you really fast. Or you can just wing it like me and hope for the best. I don't know how I did it, but I was able to pull the lever without getting killed. But my victory was short-lived, as I died. I tried to plan my next attack, but this giant rat just hopped onto my keyboard. Buddy?
You're not helping!
As we make it out for the vent, we gotta go meet up with Jazz. But the rust storm kicks in, and our boy gets trapped. So we gotta go rescue him.
Down like visitors from heaven, hallelujah!
Now the stealth crackers aren't too difficult, they take about 6 hits to kill, and their charging up time is really slow.
Alright, Pinhead, your time is up.
What are we doing?
Well, this is boring.
Now we encounter the wall crawlers, who are 10 times harder to reach than the flyers in War for Cybertron, with this last one being a pain in the ass to reach. Now I thought I would have to shoot him down, but thankfully I figured it out. And with that, we reach the final area of this chapter. And oh my god, I absolutely hate this escort mission.
What the fuck?
The amount of times I had to hear this line.
Should be more than enough fireworks to crack that lid. Should be more than enough fireworks to crack that lid. Fireworks to crack that lid. Fireworks to crack that lid. Crack that lid.
I lost all my love for Jazz.
That is not cool.
This is without a doubt one of the hardest parts in the challenge, because these shotgunners can kill you in just about 2 hits. Now only the shotgunners are focused on you. The regular soldiers are focusing on that energon bomb, but they're hitting it hard, so you gotta get rid of those soldiers while at the same time trying to dodge these shotgunners.
They aren't making this easy. I really hate this.
I'm not kidding when I say that this took me 10 attempts, and 2 of those attempts was the energon bomb getting destroyed. The strategy for this is just to kill the soldiers and avoid the shotgunners. You're gonna have to do a loop around the stairs, and as soon as you kill 3, more will spawn, and keep doing this until you kill 14 in total. But you gotta do it quick, because as soon as the bomb stops, they will attack you. All that's left is the shotgunners, and the best strategy I found was to hide around a corner and wait for them to come one by one. With that trauma out of the way, it's time to detonate.
This looks like a cool place to kick it.
Yeah, good luck, Bell. I mean, that's almost impossible. Oh, you did it. Nice.
Now for chapter 5, Cut and Run, we're gonna be playing the coolest Autobot, Jazz.
Well, I don't do my iconic victory dance for nothing. Okay, I guess just this once I can do it for nothing.
What's cracking, little bitches?
Okay, I guess I can do one more for nothing.
What's cracking, little bitches?
Okay.
As we parkour our way down to the bottom, we immediately come across the dead body of one of Grimlock's teammates, Sludge.
Are you crazy?
Oh sorry, I meant dead as in cut from the game. You know, he's technically still alive, through his memory core. We discover that Grimlock's team was attacked by the Insecticons, a bunch of creepy critters that we're going to be taking out in seconds. Kind of hard to imagine that Grimlock's Lightning Strike Coalition force was taken out by bugs. Oh yeah, that's their team name by the way.
That's terrible.
We gotta get out of here fast, before we die from a toxic overload. Now the thing about this chapter is that you can't die from falling because with Jazz having a grappling hook, he automatically saves himself. The most easy and useful thing in a video game ever. I guess you could technically consider this entire level an obstacle because there are some areas we just can't reach without using the grappling hook. Anyway, whatever, we escape in the most coolest way possible.
What's cracking, little bitch?
We reunite with Cliffjumper.
That was close, Jazz. What now?
Maybe I'll knit a sweater or something.
We find a lake that's filled with raw energon, so we gotta get there immediately.
Little help!
No.
We pick up a badass rifle, which we actually do need to use on one wall crawler because we can't progress through the mission until we shoot it. After dealing with a couple of cons and hanging up Bay vs Bumblebee, we've got to find a way to unjam the gears to get across.
Figure it out, Sir Rust-a-Lot.
Hey, show some respect.
What? I said sir.
We have no choice but to shoot at the weak point so we can get across. The next area to the surface tunnel is actually quite a challenge, because we need to kill all of the Decepticons for the grapple to lock onto the door. I wouldn't say it's outright difficult, just rather tedious, because you've really got to time yourselves here. We almost make it until Jazz's fat ass breaks through the vents.
Careful! I'm sensitive about my weight.
Like I said, the last area wasn't too difficult because it's nothing compared to this section here. These shotgunners are brutal. I once again followed the same strategy by just hiding around the corner for the shotgunners to show up. Can you see how much fun I'm having? Yeah, I perhaps spent way too long in this section than I really should have. I was just running around in circles just hoping that the shotgunners wouldn't get me because they got my health super low. Finally, I did it, and I was able to get out of this hellhole. Next, we gotta help Cliffjumper.
Take this, big guy!
With Jazz being able to automatically recover his fall, this first wall crawler was easy to melee, but unfortunately for the rest of them, we had no choice but to shoot him, all thanks to Cliffjumper for getting us in this pickle. This also carries on to the next area. Our reunion with Nolan North is cut short once again, as we have to find a new way to break in. But we can't progress any further without pulling this secret lever.
Don't worry, I can cheer you up.
It's Small Move! You voted and we listened! This cannot be undone! Small Move is here to stay!
As we reach the end of the chapter, it's time for a quick history lesson.
These look like the coordinates you found in the map chamber. What's so special about that planet?
You like jazz?
We sneak up on Starscream telling Shockwave to hurry up with his experiments. Meanwhile, Cliffjumper attempts to get himself killed for the third time.
On guard, dickhead.
How dare you speak to me like that? I could crush you with my pinky!
As Cliffjumper deals with the console, we deal with the Insecticons, and honestly, this is as easy as it gets. Even the bugs that fly, that seemed hard to reach, were actually quite easy. The space bridge is set to blow, so that's our cue to walk it back to the ship. And it cannot be done. Staying true to my non-transformation rule, I wanted to see how far we could get by just walking it, and unfortunately we don't make it. We get so close as well towards the end, but unfortunately the meltdown timer ends.
Jazz, I'm running out of road! Son! Someone call for a ride?
Bit too late for that side swipe.
Sorry about that.
If you want to take away the dash and no sprinting rule, you can easily make this. After giving us the best shot in the game, we reach Sideswipe's ship.
Sideswipe, get us out of here! You guys have been busy. Oh, well, you are even uglier up close.
Well, you're not winning any popularity contests.
The bots radio into Prime and tell them about the huge reservoir of pure energon that can both fuel up the Ark and get off Cybertron.
Call me Dr. Jazz!
No.
Don't be a moron!
Now for Chapter 6, Death from the Above, we're going to be playing as Vortex.
Who?
That's right, Dr. Vortex is on duty!
He's a member of the Combaticons who are being ordered by Starscream to destroy the Autobots' new precious energon cargo.
The supreme leader you have chosen to crush the—
Starscream! Shut it!
The plan is to divert the transport off the main road and into a sky ambush. And as Vortex, we need to destroy the bridge, with Brawl's help.
I like blasted stuff. We have limited time and energon to pull this off. Make it happen.
You interrupted my speech!
Well, I'm inspired.
In this chapter, we have no choice but to be in our helicopter mode. After shamelessly hitting the alarms and not being able to shoot at these drones to save Blastoff,
Shoot any of them today, Vortex?
we make it to our first area, where we have no choice but to use our shock blast.
Hey. Stop right there, Decepticon! Oh, just shoot him!
We immediately split up from Blastoff due to the Autobots trying to cut us off. Life's too short to have to deal with these shotgunners, so it's time to find another way around. Time yourself just right, and you can make this jump. But it can't be that easy. We need to pull a lever to open this door. And there's no other way to reach it, so we need to transform. And we can't even pull the lever until we destroy this turret. And these things are weird. You can't even transform to melee them because they trap you. They will lock onto you no matter what. And just look at this. I can't melee them. They are relentless.
Feels like brain melting! Ah!
So unfortunately, we reach another obstacle where we have no choice but to shoot it. Even though I know it's not going to work, I still try and pull the lever, even if I haven't dealt with all the Autobots yet. These bots are just relentless, man. Finally, with that out of the way, we can move on.
Scrap! Hate these guys!
I tried my corner trick, but oh my god, these guys are just annoying. I was able to do it the third time, just barely. Now it's time to meet up with Brawl.
We're in position! Brawl, get your main guns online.
You want the tank? You got the tank!
What the? Nothing happened!
We've got Autobot Marauders guarding the extra shielding. This is going to be fun. Once again, just hit him enough so you can go back and get an Energon Cube.
Okay, I am very good at this, I'll admit it.
Please don't jinx it. The Autobots on the far left wasn't really all too difficult. It was the Autobots on the right side with 2 Marauders that was the biggest pain in the ass.
You about done this. I want to play.
You shut the fuck up!
Yeah, kind of busy here, Brawl. You tried aiming.
What did you say to me? Sorry, buddy!
Thankfully, when you destroy one, the game saves, so if you die, you only have to deal with one. After destroying the final bridge support, we have to deal with these turrets. Now we have to shoot down this one, but as for the one near Brawl, he takes it out for us.
Brawl, why didn't you just do that to begin with?
I'm going to murder him. It's time to head inside and destroy the controls.
Great. It's spooky dark down here. You're afraid of the dark? Well, it does make it hard to see.
As we make our way through, we deal with a bunch of annoying shotgunners. But worst of all, we have to deal with Mr. Titan.
Hello, it's good to be here. Hello.
In all fairness, the Titan isn't really that hard to melee. It is a long process. Thankfully, there's Energon Cubes around. You're looking at around 12 hits without his shield. Yeah, you also need to destroy his balls that protect him. But not only that, halfway through, a couple of Autobot soldiers chime in as well. The only real annoying thing is this.
This is just no fun at all!
And after landing the final blow, we destroy the bridge. Once again, having no choice but to transform. Now for Chapter 7, Belly of the Beast, we're going to be playing as the intergalactic arms dealer, Swandle.
I could spring a leak, I'm so excited!
Despite destroying the bridge, the Decepticons still need to deal with the cargo's defenses. Unless if you're Starscream, who doesn't hesitate to attack.
I can't stand it! I can't stand it! This is a cosmic prison! You're too crude to accomplish anything! I beg your pardon! My strategy is brilliant! You're all military morons!
Idiot.
Onslaught wants us to drive to the underbelly, but we're gonna walk it. And I immediately regret making this a rule. Annoyingly, we're on a time limit, so we gotta act fast. But we can't melee these, so we have no choice but to shoot it. And just ignore the Autobot cars, they don't do much damage, they're just like mosquitoes. But these Autobots are ruthless, and will tear you to shreds.
Wheeling and dealing! Oh! Their firepower is too much!
Really, Starscream?
Starscream's getting smacked real good!
As we head off to the next area, we've got to deal with acid.
You realize acid does more than just singe your paint job, right?
You bet.
We disable the cargo, but our punishment for this is having to deal with 2 Titans. And 4 minutes felt like 4 hours.
This is one lousy experience!
For this, use the open space to your advantage and just take your time with it. Much to the con shock, this cargo can fly, so this mission got 10 times longer.
Time is money, let's go! Woo!
Now for Chapter 8, Combaticons Combine, we're going to be playing as Bruticus's Foot. Yep, we're back to playing as Swindle, but not for long. And we already have an obstacle, this jet engine that we need to destroy in order to get past. I tried to melee it, but I forgot Swindle also saves himself. Let's check in on Teletran.
Combaticon Swindle identified. It is doubtful that you will survive Starscream's leadership.
Okay, yeah, he knows too much. Before we disable the engine, we need to destroy the anti-air cannons.
This is Starscream! The mission is lost! Abort! Abort!
What the fuck did you say?
Unfortunately, with the cannons, we can't melee them, so we have no choice but to shoot them. And you best do it quick before these shotgunners blow you to pieces. Onslaught wants us to use our boosters, but he underestimates how dumb we are.
Oh! Toast! Think of this as an encouragement to hurry the scrap up!
Alright bro, chill. For the second cannon, the Autobots sabotage the controls, so we have no choice but to go on the dropship and destroy it ourselves. With it now destroyed, it's time for the Combaticons to combine into Bruticus.
I should be filming this! Gonna be tight! Here comes the feel-good!
Feels like I've got sludge in my brain!
12 years later, and I still can't believe we have a Transformers game where you can play as a combiner. I miss you, High Moon. Sadly, we won't be here for long though, because it's a pretty straightforward mission. You can just ignore the Autobots. They really don't do that much damage to you. You can just crush them and not even notice.
Come fight me one-on-one!
These Autobots have got a lot of balls. However, you can't ignore everything, as you do need to destroy these cannons in order to trigger the next location.
There's dumb, and there's stupid, and then there's you!
With pleasure!
After destroying the turbine and the rest of these turrets, we break into the control room.
Whose butt needs kicking?
Yes, in your face!
Oh, now that was a gorgeous lob! Come on, admit it!
Combaticons!
Man, shut your bitch ass up!
Congratulations, Onslaught.
Who are you? And what are we doing in these crude carcasses?
Unbelievable! Arrest them!
Now for Chapter 9, Megatron Returns, we're going to be playing as Soundwave.
Why don't you all just sit back and listen while the DJ spins the story?
Who else was it going to be? Do you ever notice this con who just sits on Soundwave? It just gets me every time. It's time to put an end to Starscream's reign, so we bring back Megatron. If you couldn't have guessed that already. We summon Laserbeak to get us a tech vault so we can charge up Megatron. There's no combat with Soundwave, so technically not an obstacle. We gotta thank our little birdie for a job well done.
Pleasure working with you.
We can also eject Rumble, but as for Frenzy, I think he's being punished for something. Yeah, look at the little guy run in.
Hey, who are you calling little?
After linking Megatron's new arms, we summon Rumble to get him a new head, in a trash bin.
Here, boss.
Sure, why not? They just have them laying around. It's now time to infuse Megatron with Dark Energon and bring the Warmongerer back to life.
In 3, 2, 1. Optic circuits online.
Ah, those were the good old days back on Cybertron.
Gone are the failures of Megatron.
Starscream, you filthy retro rat!
After acting like we just didn't get crushed to death by a giant robot hand, we go and confront Starscream. Let's just have some target practice.
I'd hate to be Starscream right now.
Even the Autobots know.
I can't hear you!
All hail Starscream!
One more time!
All hail!
This is comedy.
Megatron!
This guy gets what's about to happen.
Give me one more chance! I beg of you!
The game forces us to test out Megatron's new hovering ability, so we have no choice but to use it and destroy a bunch of cons.
The Decepticon army is now loyal to me! Choke on my exhaust!
Hard to imagine that these two are supposed to be in the same continuity. Now I'm actually quite proud of myself for this because I didn't die once, and I thought for sure I was going to get killed, and I was so close as well. Most of these Decepticons really aren't all that tough. It's when the shotgunners arrive, where you've got to be dancing around this room, well, in a loop. You're basically just going in a massive circle. And it takes more than 2 hits to kill some of them, because look, I am almost gone. But as soon as you deal with the shotgunners, everything else is pretty much easy. But don't ever underestimate any Decepticon, because as soon as you get careless, you will die. Unfortunately, however, we do reach one obstacle with these wall crawlers. You have no choice but to shoot them, because you just simply can't reach them. But when it comes to the leapers, we can just whack them in the back, and we're good.
That was enjoyable.
No, it wasn't.
With the final leaper destroyed, it's time to beat Starscream.
Cowards! Is there no one left who would challenge this pretender to the throne?
Fight your own battle, Starscream.
That one guy just ruined that moment.
You are either lying or you're stupid.
I'm stupid!
As Starscream escapes, and we erect our new statue, it's time to go and meet up with Shockwave.
Soundwave hasn't reported back in days. Where can he be?
Megatron! I think I've found him.
eBay?
Request permission to buy it now.
We're playing as Megatron again in Chapter 10. In this chapter, we're going to the crater where Trypticon crashed when he fell from orbit to get his power core.
What?
Where are we headed, Megatron?
I really want him to say Venus. Fred Tatashaw, I would have paid you for that one joke. The first thing we have to deal with is the annoying vehicle-only Autobots, which took about 5 or 6 hits to kill, and this dragged on so much. The only minor obstacles in this area is that we often have to use our hover ability to get to the next area.
Hey, do you have visual contact? We have every kind of contact!
The Autobot dialogue in this chapter is so funny, man.
Hit him! Hit him! We are hitting him!
With what? Insults?
All who oppose me will suffer.
One thing I didn't expect when I turned around this corner were a shotgunner, and I died instantly. The shotgunners in this level are one royal pain in the diode, and we'll get to that towards the end. We make our way up and meet Soundwave.
Soundwave, report.
You're dispatched, Holmes. You keep laying down the same beat and I keep giving the same answer. It isn't here.
We can't leave until we pet our little birdie.
Disgusting.
Next up, we have to deal with an Autobot marauder.
I think we hurt him! You didn't even hurt his feelings!
I don't think this dude has feelings. To reach these Autobots, we have no choice but to use our hovering ability. Once again, with these Marauders, try and do enough damage as you can, as long as there's an Energon Cube nearby.
Better!
With this Marauder, I felt like we reached an impasse because I kept hitting this thing over and over, and it just didn't want to die. I was just like, wait, is this actually possible? Does the game want me to shoot at it? I mean, I saw the smoke, so I kept going, but my health was gone. And that thing has such a long distance as well. Finally, I destroy this thing, but it's not over yet, as these shotgunners were really giving me a headache.
My patience wears even thinner than my energy levels!
But finally, I was able to kill these guys. Just our luck, we have to deal with another Marauder and these annoying turret cars.
It's so boring.
With that out of the way, we order Bruticus to clear a path through the gate. And I'm sorry guys, but I can't resist.
Breathtaking. I shall call him Mini-Me.
So yeah, bizarrely we can't melee this guy without accidentally killing ourselves.
Megatron has entered the facility! Thanks for the update!
Get out of my line of fire, you imbecile!
Oh, screw this. For the next section, we have no choice but to use our dash and hovering ability to make it to the top. It's there where we have a little chat with Optimus Prime.
Feast your eyes on the new and improved Emperor of the Dark Side. You don't say.
Optimus pleads with Megatron to stop and wants them to work together, but you know how this goes.
End your aggression. We can work together.
They say I have anger issues.
You're one royal pain in the...
I wish he hadn't have done that because of his shotgunners.
Approach me and suffer! What? How dare you!
Once that's sorted, we make our way down, and I am not dealing with these guys. I'm just going to ignore them at all cost. These guys, however, are really hard to avoid. You can't get around them by just waltzing through, so you have to take them on. I had to think of a good strategy here, and I decided to just charge at these lot because I know there's an Energon Cube there. You gotta be quick though, because these guys like to run off. One thing that appears to be unavoidable are these sticky rockets. There's just no way to get around them, so you gotta hurry up fast before they do their thing. You've also gotta watch out for this shotgunner who is gonna try his best to kill you. But with that being said, I was finally able to get through this horrible area.
And that is why Megatron shall lead!
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into.
It doesn't get any easier in the next area. It's quite easy to get around, but you have to kill every Decepticon and able to progress because, well, there's a lever you need to pull, and you can't pull that lever with all these cons firing at you. But to get up to the top, we do need to use our hover ability, so that's another obstacle. And another obstacle is that you've got no choice but to shoot these turrets because they clip through the wall as you're trying to pull the lever.
Say what?
Oh, Christ, I really hate these turrets, man. The next big pain in the ass was this Autobot Titan.
What is this abomination?
It was a rhetorical question, Soundwave. After multiple attempts, I was finally able to take down this giant brute. We arrive at Trypticon's leg stabilizers, which we have no choice but to shoot. But it was incredibly hard not to shoot these shotgunners. These two were just getting me every time. I think Knockout and Breakdown have some competition because these two are a match made in hell. I was finally able to do it, and Christ, it felt good when I finally killed these two. Damn, after saying that, I feel horrible now.
What have I done?
After unsealing Trypticon's body, and avoiding all of these Autobots, we have no choice but to shoot at these pods and some wall crawlers, except for one that we can melee. We finish this chapter with Soundwave hacking Trypticon's energy levels. And that's it. Yep, the chapter ends. No more enemies to deal with at all.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
This is, without a doubt, the worst part of this run. And it's all because of the shotgunners.
In the end, he will suffer. In the end,
there will be only chaos.
The first part might seem easy, with the Energon Cubes around, but those Energon Cubes don't come back, so as soon as you have one, that's it, they aren't regenerated.
Oh no!
The best thing you can hope for if you've used them all is just to melee a shotgunner and pray that they give you one. There are multiple shotgunners coming at you at once, and they will not stop following you. I was running around in circles for ages because I was afraid if I turned around, they would just kill me.
Leave me alone!
And I stopped playing the game for 2 days. Now you'd think just wait for the timer, but the timer only goes up when you kill a certain amount of enemies. And at certain points I was close to ending the chapter.
You gotta tear me apart!
I want to say these turrets were protecting me, but these turrets can't protect shit. The only thing these turrets can really kill are the wall crawlers. I only had to kill one, and I let the rest of them do the work for me, with it finally ending the chapter.
The mission, the nightmares, they're finally over.
Megatron's plan is not to save Trypticon, but to redesign his body that competes with the Ark, transforming him into the Nemesis. But before he does this, he needs some music.
Soundwave can pick up radio signals from across the universe. Play my favorite song.
My Little Pony.
Good stuff.
Now for Chapter 10, Starscream's Betrayal, we're going to be playing as Jeff. His only purpose is to die horrifically. Like typical Starscream fashion, as soon as we've got work to do, it's time for a nap.
When I'm back in charge, naps will become law.
I'm sure my personal servant would be happy to oblige.
This displeases me.
Tell Grimlock about Petro Rabbits again.
Well, that was pleasant.
As soon as we blow up this poor dude, we have no choice but to break the rules, as this entire area is a huge obstacle, as we have to fly around and hack all the sentries. But at least you don't have to bother with the enemies. But before we end this section, you know I just couldn't resist.
Very handsome, if I say so myself.
As we make our way down, we eavesdrop on Shockwave, with his test subject, Grimlock. And with us playing as Starscream, an opportunity arises.
The fuck is that? I'm dying in this country.
Unfortunately for Starscream, it's now time to switch characters.
The only reason you yammering metalheads are still online is because of me! The supreme leader you have chosen to crush the Autobots and leave—
Me, Grimlock, no like you!
Please don't crush!
Me, Grimlock, kick butt! I don't want any of that! You talk to him!
Fortunately for us, this entire section is melee.
Please don't hurt me! I'm tempting to—
Now for this, I've decided I can throw enemies, but I can't use my shield. Because if I couldn't throw, all of Grimlock's chapters would be an obstacle. Shockwave wants to give us a tutorial, so we can reach our full potential. Yeah, that don't sound like a dumb idea. After slicing the rest of his cons, we break Swoop free. We then check out Shockwave's lab. That's gross. Oh my god, Grimlock, what have you done? Please, put it out of its misery, it's in pain.
Clean up on aisle 5.
What we definitely need to put out of its misery is Hard Shell, which is very simple, just throw these energon bombs at him. It's so easy, it kinda makes me feel sorry for him.
Me, Grimlock, not feel sorry. Me, Grimlock, laugh.
To finish off this chapter, we time ourselves with Swoop and make a break for it. Or make a walk for it.
Grimlock! Something big tunneled through the bottom here.
Don't know, don't care.
Now for chapter 12, Grimlock Smash, we're going to be playing as... Grimlock.
Quiet! We want to hear a story!
The chapter starts with Grimlock and Swoop splitting up. And just like the previous chapter, there's no real difficulty at all. The Insecticons are just pests.
Hey, bugs.
Except for the Decepticons.
No!
Due to game logic, we can't transform yet, so Shockwave, with the help of Kickback, is going to show us how. They get a giant bug to basically piss us off. Now, technically I'm not going to count this as an obstacle because as soon as we transform into our T-Rex mode, we can transform back straight away. Yeah, this challenge is basically where you can't have fun. You don't have to worry about hitting them in a particular spot, you can either slash and throw anything at them. The only sad part about this is that we didn't get to kill Kickback ourselves, but it's worth it for this one throwback.
Excuse me.
Well, they sure gave Slug an IQ boost, didn't they?
Slug, you look terrible.
Not even subtle. We regroup with Swoop, and it's now time to find Snarl. Oh, and I'm going to be orange this entire run now. No matter how many times I play it, this section will always be frustrating to me.
Stupid door!
As we make our way through, we deal with a horde of Insecticons and a new enemy type, the Spitters.
You cut through those guys like beryllium baloney. You mean cesium salami. No, beryllium baloney. Cesium salami. Wow, and I thought you were mean before.
Before we rescue Snarl, we have to destroy this power core, which we have no choice but to turn into our T-Rex mode and use our fire breath. The same goes for this final section where we have to save Snarl from Sharp Sharp.
Snarl, is that you?
Would you please open the gate and let me in?
That's Snarl.
After destroying the 6th and final one, it's time to take a bite out of Sharp Sharp.
Stay away from me! You
Snarl is pretty messed up, Grimlock.
So we help. This time.
The Dinobots head into an observatory where they contact Optimus Prime.
You're alive. We feared the worst.
Ha! You're joking.
The Decepticons are using the portal to rip a hole through time and space, and to stop it, Grimlock takes matters into his own hands.
You must help stop these disasters. Me, Grimlock, not care. Grimlock, wait.
To make our way to the tower, we briefly control Swoop.
Hey, we Dinobots gotta stick together!
Unless if you're Sludge. Yeah, we break all of our rules at this part. And when we get to the tower, it's just a walk in the park. Even these leapers aren't that hard to deal with.
Grimlock is king!
Okay, these guys were more annoying than I thought.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
After finally destroying these guys, it's time to confront our owner.
You didn't think I'd build something so powerful such as you, and not have a way to control it.
You wrong, and you ugly too. Me Grimlock kick butt.
We haven't got time to kick anymore, as the space bridge is about to melt down. And that's how the chapter ends, with the space portal becoming unstable. But the Autobots don't have enough energon for the Ark, leaving it to Metroplex to sacrifice himself.
Optimus, take whatever spark that remains within me.
Metroplex, my friend. You're responsible.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Unfortunate but necessary.
No. Wait.
Now for the final chapter, Till All Are One, we're going to be playing as both Autobots and Decepticons. And first up, we're going to be playing as Soundwave.
You will lead the first wave of the assault.
I let my skills speak for me.
After busting out Rumble, we make our way to the Ark, and we only have to deal with 2 rooms of Autobots. The first one is not that bad, and the timer is not dependent on how many Autobots you kill, which would have been helpful in the final countdown, but the second room has a dozen of Autobots, a lot of them being shotgunners, that can really make this difficult. The goal is to kill all the Autobots and pull the 3 levers. Now you can pull the levers with the Autobots in the room, you just have to be very quick and careful.
Use laser beam to destroy those Autobots!
Negative. Soundwave superior.
Now I would say you can avoid the wall crawlers, but you've got to kill a few because if you don't, they will stop you from pulling that lever. With that done, it's now time to switch sides and play as Jetfire. Okay, I really hate this part. You'd think I'd remember after playing this game a dozen times where the chick and the armors are, but I always forget, and it's always the most boring part of this level. Now for something short and sweet, we're going to be playing as Bruticus.
That's the sound of profit! Swindle, shut it!
And I wasn't kidding when I said short and sweet, this takes barely a minute to do. What doesn't take barely a minute is playing as Jazz.
Wiped out the whole platoon with one punch.
Hey, cancel that negativity!
To stop Bruticus, we need help from Jetfire with an airstrike, but I'm not sure if I trust this dude.
My spark is finished.
Stop getting in my way if you don't want to get shot!
Now this fight with Bruticus is the longest part in the chapter. You've got to be careful when you melee him because he will get you with his flamethrower. Thankfully we have energon cubes, but yeah no, this was very soul draining. The only obstacle is that you do have to shoot him in the face and use the airstrike. I tried just using melee without the airstrike, but I don't think it works.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Crap! I actually felt that!
It's now time for the epic showdown of Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Why won't you die?
Nanomachine, son.
What?
You die.
To end Optimus's tyranny, we're going to be playing as Megatron.
What?
Junk! That's what you are! Junk! Silence!
No matter the difficulty, the game doesn't even try to make this final fight hard. They created 2 games just to lead up to this moment, and they want you to enjoy every minute of it.
How dare you! Oh, please.
Even better is that Optimus Prime delivers the burn of the century.
Not bad for a librarian. Perhaps you should have spent more time in the pit.
And perhaps you should have spent more time in the library.
Prime representing nerds everywhere.
Give me your faith.
And with one last hit, the challenge is over.
Systems scrambled.
I am the Dominator!
You are nothing!
I shall shake this off!
We now get treated to one of the best endings in video games.
No! The portal!
Stick it in neutral, Megatron!
Silence!
Hey, stop that!
Come on! No! I will not be denied!
I'll kill you!
Megatron, I will kill you.
You dare threaten me? Me?
And that's how the game ends, with it being arguably one of the biggest cliffhangers in video games. Well, unless if you watch Transformers Prime. An unfortunate sequel/prequel would be made, Rise of a Darkspark.
Wah wah wah.
Which I'm in no rush to play just yet.
Why not? I don't want to. But I've got a gun. I don't care. Doesn't make any sense. Too bad.
So, can you beat Fall of Cybertron using only melee?
No way. We got you. Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened.
Technically, yes. Granted, just like War for Cybertron, there are many obstacles, but most of the rules we've had to break is due to the game forcing us to. The only major threat in this entire challenge is undoubtedly the shotgunners, which in some ways has changed my entire outlook on this game. Would I recommend this challenge? Yeah, because I turned out fine.
Guess I'm ugly.
And with the recent rumours of these Transformers games potentially coming back, let's just hope that a game that was a big part of our childhood can come back once again and be introduced to brand new audiences. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out my War for Cybertron video and stay tuned for more videos just like this, because I'm going to keep doing this until I lose my mind. As stated, I will be doing a vehicle mode only, so if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, cue the epic music, and I'll see you in the next one.
What's cracking, little bitches?
Can't believe you outranked me.
Right, kids? That ends tonight's broadcast. See you on the floor soon. Peace out, bongs.